The opportunity to visit New Prague and make a special stop at a place called 2 If by Sea.
That's right, a great introduction to the area. We got to chat with Austin, founder of 2 If by Sea, to learn all about it. Take a look.
So 2 If by Sea Tactical is again a reference to Paul Revere's ride, the Longfellow Midnight Ride poem, 1 If by Land, 2 If by Sea. The British ended up going by sea, so 2 lanterns were lit in the Old North Church to signal which direction the British were coming from, and then of course they rode out, told the Minutemen, and then the rest, as they say, is history. So that is a reference to that. It was a way that I could keep this historically tied, but it was true to me. If you can't tell, I'm a bit of a nerd. Like, this is what I do. I love learning about history, and I had to come up with a name that felt right. And at least from our suppliers' perspectives, and when people ship us stuff and they hear a name, we'll get little sticky notes like, that's the coolest thing ever. I don't know why we didn't think of that. So people do get the reference, and it's really cool to be able to kind of spread that history. It goes back to Paul Revere's ride. Up until that point, our founding fathers, we were still trying to be a part of British Parliament. It was just taxation. We just wanted representation. That's all we were asking for. Then we got word that they had given, and I say they, the king had given orders to the regulars to go take the powder and firearms from the colonists at Lexington and Concord. April 18th, 1775, Paul Revere set up the Midnight Ride, and the famous saying, "The British are coming." Our militia met the British in Lexington and Concord, and the shot heard around the world, and the Revolutionary War starts. And it was at that point that John Adams says, it was time for irrevocable independence. I can't even speak as well as John Adams would, but it was where we separated, said, nope, we're no longer British subjects. We are free men, and we moved on from that point. I want people to be trained, safe. Safety is paramount. So we obviously offer classes. One of our big things is our Mama Bear Tactics course, which is a female-only course. A lot of fun. Really, really enjoy seeing, especially females, which I do think was underserved in the firearm community for most of, well, pretty much of all time until fairly recently. People are trying to fix that, and we want to be a part of that solution. The other thing that we do is theme nights, which kind of comes from my background in the South. We do ladies' nights. Women shoot free. That's the third Thursday of every month. The second Wednesday of every month is for military first responders, and we have included teachers in that as well. Just come shoot for free, have some fun as a thank you for what you do in our society. And then my personal favorite, the fourth Friday of every month, is cosmic shooting. So the way I tell people, it's as if George Washington had cosmic bowling. That's what this is. Black lights, strobe lights, a little 80s rock and roll, black light targets, come shoot and have some fun. There is a real world application for that, low light shooting, which you don't get to practice all that often because it's hard to do in a safe manner. This gives you a fun, kind of inventive way to play around with that a little bit and get a little bit better at it. Our VR training system. So that's brought by TI Training, and it has about 900 real world scenarios. So take a mass shooting in a movie theater, for instance. How would you handle that? It gives you an option to do shoot, no shoot, scenarios in a safe environment when we're using CO2 cartridge powered guns or just plastic guns. It allows us to see how much you actually learn in class and how much are you paying attention. Some of our scenarios, you don't actually shoot at all. The correct answer is to not shoot. I'm going to borrow a line from Rick Harrison and the Pawn Stars. You'll never know what walks through your door. That is true. I mean, we have wild things come through. I had a lady bring a Kentucky long rifle from the early 1800s. That is the rifle that the Revolutionary War was won with. Of course, we get a lot of World War II stuff, and for whatever reason around here, seems like the people who served in World War II went to Europe mainly, so we get a lot of German, a lot of Italian stuff. When you get that kind of stuff that walks through, especially when they don't know what it is, and they're like, I don't know what this is, my grandfather passed away, and then it's just, you're in it. You're like, I know exactly what that is. This is where it is, and sometimes they'll even give you some documents and you can place it. We had a guy who brought a German Luger. He served in the Battle of the Bulge, a very big famous battle in World War II, and you can place it right where it was, and it's the only way you can connect, and sometimes with some of these things. We've developed some really long lasting relationships with people who just absolutely didn't know or even didn't like them, guns, and then now they come to all of our classes.
Pretty cool right there. The history behind a building like that is incredible. I think when you first learn about where a name comes from and kind of where it gets the name,
right,
it's awesome.
Yeah, super cool. And I mean, they have so many events that they host, and it's just so cool. And I mean, the glow in the dark, you have the VR, there's just
all of it.
Everything.
And
right
you can
there.
tell that Austin and Creed, who we didn't interview, the other member who co-owner, they care.
Yeah.
It's not something where it's like, oh, I'm just doing this to collect a check or anything like that.
Right.
They care. And you'll see us later, they teach us that, and it's pretty cool.
100%. And still to come.